let's go back to Joshua 1 and verse 2. Joshua 1 and verse 2.
Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses.
That was Deuteronomy 11, verse 21 to 25. Go ahead.
From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea.
That's the Mediterranean.
Toward the going down of the sun shall be your coast.
Go ahead.
There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life.
So now, read. Did you finish that?
No, there's more.
Go ahead.
As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee.
So we were given our coast. So we entered the land. We took the land. This is what happened. It's history in a nutshell. Now, give me Jeremiah 44 and verse 1. I'm going to show you something. Jeremiah 44 and 1. So we entered the land. We took the land. Now I'm going up to the time of Babylon. But notice something here in Jeremiah 44 and verse 1.
Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews which dwell in the land of Egypt, which dwell at Migdol and at Tapanhes and at Noph in the country of Pathros, saying.
So what I'm showing you here is that you had Israelites who went to dwell in the land of Egypt. We had set up sanctuaries there, but God had told us not to go back into Egypt because we had to serve who, brothers? Anybody remembers who was coming to take us down during the time of Jeremiah? Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar was coming. And Israel made an allegiance with Egypt to fight against Nebuchadnezzar. That allegiance was naught and voided. Because God, when Israel, we went against the Most High, Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Egypt and destroyed the Israelites that fought beside Babylon. That's what you read about in these latter chapters of Jeremiah. From there, give me Acts chapter 2 and verse 7. But my point for that verse was to show you that we had extended our borders into Egypt. Give me Acts 2, verse 10. First read verse 5.
Acts chapter 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven.
So the Jews, we came back to Jerusalem on this high holiday, the Feast of Pentecost. We came from where? Every nation under heaven. How do we get to every nation under heaven? It's called what, brothers? Captivity, slavery. We were taken, some of us went into the Syrian captivity. Some went into the Babylonian captivity, followed by the Persian captivity, followed by which was the Medes as well, Greek, and now we're in the Roman captivity. So now read verse 10.
Acts chapter 2, verse 10. Phrygia and Pamphylia.
Phrygia
And Pamphylia, in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya.
I'm sorry, read it again.
It says Phrygia.
What verse are you at?
Acts chapter 2, verse 10.
Go ahead.
Phrygia.
That's the area of Turkey.
And Pamphylia.
That's around Turkey as well.
In Egypt.
Egypt, that's Africa.
And in the parts of Libya.
Libya, go ahead.
And it says about Cyrene.
That's Africa. That's North Africa. Libya around Cyrene is North Africa. That's just beside Egypt, going towards what's this direction? The west side. So it's telling you that Israelites came from North Africa as well. Notice it mentions Egypt there and parts of Libya about Cyrene. So we had extended from Egypt towards the northern parts of Africa. Everybody see that right there? My point is showing you that we had already started living there. So from there, give me Luke 21 and verse 20. So we can never ignore Africa like many Christian scholars tend or try to do. You cannot ignore it. No matter how you try, you can't ignore it. Read that.
Luke chapter 21, verse 20.
Mm-hmm. Actually, give me Matthew 2:13, then give me Luke. I'll start there first. Oh, Jonah sent us a nice map. I like that map. Give me that. Put that map on the screen, the one Jonah just posted. All right. Now do y'all see Libya? Libya, that's what we just read in Acts 2 and 10, right? Libya about Cyrene. And y'all see Egypt there. That's Africa. So you had Israelites in those two countries right there, according to Acts 2, verse 10. Acts 2, verse 10 tells you that there were Jews in Libya and Egypt. So those two countries we were living in. So we went from where the Euphrates is, up there. We extended all the way down through Israel, through Cairo, to Egypt, to Libya. That's where we were at. So now, where you at, Captain Young?
Matthew chapter 2, verse 13.
Go ahead.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt.
Right. So again, you had Jews living in Egypt. We had sanctuaries in Egypt. We had set up places in Egypt. So God told Joseph to take Mary and Christ, flee into Egypt. It's all black people there. Go ahead.
It says, And be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
For the white man will seek the young child to destroy him. That's what it's literally saying, because Herod was the white man, an Idumean, under Rome. From that, Luke 21:20, please.
Luke chapter 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
When you see the Roman armies encircle Jerusalem, this is talking about a prophecy of 70 A.D. Go ahead.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
The word desolation means destruction. Go ahead.
Then let them which are in Judea.
You Israelites that are in the land of Judea, do what?
Flee to the mountains.
The mountains is referring to deeper into Africa. That's what he's talking about. Run deeper into Africa. Because why? We were already in parts of Egypt. We were already in Libya. So now he's talking to the ones in Israel. So he's telling us, run for our lives. Run. Go ahead.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
So if you're in the other countries like Libya and Egypt, don't come back. That's what he was saying. Don't, like in Acts 2, remember they were coming back from these places for the high holy days. Christ was saying here, when 70 AD occurs, don't come back. Go ahead.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Now the things he's making reference to, who knows? Who knows what he's making reference to? I only see 4 hands. Okay, pick somebody. Just pick somebody.
Shalom, Bishop.
Shalom.
Referring to
Who are you?
Brother Moses.
Brother Moses.
Deuteronomy 28. The curses.
Which one?
All of them.
Have a seat. Somebody help him. Somebody help Moses. Somebody help Moses. That don't even sound right, right? But you got to help that brother.
Shalom, Bishop. Soldier Hezekiah.
Soldier Hezekiah.
Yes, I believe you're talking about Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
No, have a seat. We're going to help soldier, brother Hezekiah to soldier, right? We're going to help soldier Hezekiah. Somebody, come on now.
Shalom, Brother Jordan.
Brother Jordan.
Deuteronomy 28:49.
Just that verse?
49 and down.
Okay, let's get it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with what Brother Jordan said. You could have started a little further down, but I do like that verse. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49.
Listen good, everybody.
The Lord
Write this precept in your Bibles, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Watch what it says here. Remember, Christ was prophesying about what? 70 A.D., the destruction of Jerusalem. Watch this.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
What was the symbol of ancient Rome? The eagle. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
What language did Rome speak? Latin. Write that down. Go ahead.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
So they killed old and young. They didn't care how old you was or how young you was. They were slaughtering us. Same thing like America. They didn't care. Spain did the same thing. Go ahead.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou beest destroyed.
Colonialism. Go ahead.
Which also should not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind.
That's cattle.
Or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
Read.
And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates.
Notice this, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates. So now, I want you to pay close to what I'm about to say. This curse occurred during the time of Babylon and Rome. This curse occurred during the time of Babylon and Rome. Go ahead.
And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until the high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest.
Because around Jerusalem we had that great wall. It was very similar to the Great Wall of China. Looks very similar to that. Go ahead.
Wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land.
Because we built the Great Wall of China. I know I'm digressing, but go ahead.
And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
So we resorted to cannibalism. Why? Because what Rome did, they blocked off all allowances of food to enter into Jerusalem. No food was entering in. So it was write this down, a 7-year siege. Imagine 7 years with no food. What would you do? How low would you go? Everybody said, I'd never be a cannibal. You the devil's a liar. You start looking. You ever see them Bugs Bunny cartoon when you get hungry? A brother look like a hot dog, and a fat brother look like a hamburger. That's what was happening, okay? And we started to eat our sons and daughters. Go ahead.
So that the man that is...
Now, the same thing occurred in Babylon. When you read 2 Kings 6, around verse 28, they got the precepts here. Lamentations 2 and 20, and Baruch 2 and 3. Showing, so the same curse occurred during the time of Babylon and Rome. Read on.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Now Moses explaining why our eyes would be evil. Verse 53 explained it. Now verse 54 tells us our eyes would be evil towards our brother and towards our wife. Verse 55 now.
So that he will
He's explaining it. Go ahead.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
So verse 54 is still explaining verse 53 and 55. Brothers be using verse 54 to talk about people, our brothers in Chicago. That's not talking about black on black crime shooting each other. It's not talking about that. See, y'all just ain't running to the right Christian and hem y'all up. Stop with the dumb breakdowns. That's talking about black on black crime. We shooting each other. It ain't talking about that. It's talking about cannibalism. All somebody got to do is say, read the next verse. Now you caught, you hemmed up. You're the devil. Read on.
So that he will not give to any of
Y'all
them.
could also read that in Jeremiah 19, verse 9, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead. Let me look for it.
Sorry, verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet.
Yes, write that down. Jeremiah 19, verse 9. It also explains it there. What verse you at, Captain Young?
57.
Go ahead.
And toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege.
Imagine that. You got those movies like the zombie movies. Imagine you looking for your wife and all you hear is she in a corner eating a baby. Babe, what you doing? I just ate Tyrone. I just ate him. No, but that's how it was so horrible a scene that it's hard to really imagine. But that's what God is explaining happened to us prophetically, which has now become historic. What verse you at, Captain Young?
Verse 57.
Go ahead.
It says, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. If thou wilt not observe to
That's
do...
it.
Okay.
So now, go back to Luke 21. Now we understand the thought now.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right.
years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it's how I walk, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.